Healthcare has been changing over the last year, and that means it's more important than ever to make sure kids have high quality healthcare. So how do you choose the right doctor? Plus, we're tackling vaccines this morning with Dr. Candida Suffridge. She's with Baylor Scott and White. She joins us in the studio. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So we were talking about this because I have a little one and you have little ones. And as parents, we kind of tackle this from a different viewpoint. But first, let's start because you have what's known as the 3 A's. What are those?
Yeah, the 3 A's that are important in medicine and important in finding a doctor. The first would be availability. They need to be able to see you, so that's more important than anything, even more than their ability, because if you can't see them, they can't be helpful. Number 2 is affability. Are they friendly? Do they listen to you? Do you have a good experience with this doctor? Can you get the information you need and your questions answered? And then the third is just as important, is ability. So you want to make sure that you pick the right specialty within primary care, whether it's a pediatrician or a family medicine physician. There's also pediatrics and internal medicine, and be sure they're board certified. I think most of us practicing are.
Yeah, I hear word of mouth is probably one of the best ways. Asking other parents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's our biggest source of referrals is patients that have that refer us to their friends and family.
Yeah, how important that bedside manner? I mean, having little ones and making sure that they're comfortable with this particular doctor. How important is that? Because we know what it's like as an adult, and you have a doctor who might be deadpan and not give you much information. But for smaller children and even teens, how important is that bedside manner?
I think it's crucial. You have to have a good bedside manner. You have to establish trust. There's a lot of information that we have that we need to convey in a way that's understandable. We need to understand what patients' concerns are and their fears and their preferences, and then make a decision jointly with our patients.
Yeah, and now that school has gone back, many parents have had to vaccinate their kids. And let's talk about the vaccine, shifting gears here. The CDC has a recommended schedule for parents every year. What do you suggest that parents do when their kids have to get vaccines? Are they to go on and check that list every year?
Sure, that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's your physician's responsibility to know which vaccines are recommended, and we have all that information. And there's different vaccines for different individuals depending on how old you are, what your chronic medical diseases are, etc. But we always recommend that you see your physician at least once a year. And preventative care is always changing, is always updating, including vaccines. So once a year, if you check in with your physician, we'll make sure that you're updated with all of those vaccinations.
Yeah, in recent years, there's been more of a push for some parents to not vaccinate, which I know your office does not agree with, but for parents to put on a different schedule, a slightly different schedule than the CDC's. How effective is that?
Yeah, and that's such a great question. It's really important that you establish that relationship with your physician. We need to understand as doctors, what are your preferences, what are your fears, what do you want for your child and your child's health? I think most, if not all, parents want the best for their child, and they want them to stay safe. So it's our responsibility to educate on which vaccines are recommended. I think sometimes it's helpful when I tell my patients I get all the vaccines, my kids get all the vaccines. I 100% trust the CDC. Vaccines are very safe and they save lives.
Okay, so if Dr. Suffridge, if a parent's watching this morning and they say, hey, this is the doctor that I want to talk to, how do they get in contact with you?
You can visit our website, BaylorScottandWhiteHealth.org, and give us a call. All of our physicians are featured online on our website. You can kind of read a little bit about them and their background and their preferences.
All right, Dr. Candida Suffridge, thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Gigi.
Say hi to your kids.
I sure will. You too.
All right.